Hi everyone, Irit here with another process video in my daily series for July, World Watercolor Month. If you're new here, hi, welcome. I mostly obsess about watercolors and sometimes I also paint something. So I don't really have high expectations till September comes and, hopefully school and kindergarten resume. I mean, who knows? But for now, it is the summer vacation and I'm mostly with my kids. So yeah, this is managing to do this daily challenge is pretty much the maximum that I expect to do these days, and everything extra is just a bonus. So today's color is actually a really, really lovely color that I do enjoy, and yeah, I use it, probably could use it a little bit more. So I'm using violet blue. It's a Sennelier color, but I think every brand has something very similar. It's basically a granulating blue violet. I think Daniel Smith has a really lovely version. I think it's called Cobalt Blue Violet, something like that. Schmincke also has a lovely version. So you don't need this one, although the Sennelier one is it's pretty affordable. I think it's cheaper than both of the other brands I mentioned. And in my attempt to keep things, exciting, experimental, and fun for myself, I picked up this fan brush and started this painting with it. So yesterday's video, or the previous video, I'm not sure how, I'm posting these daily during weekdays, so I don't know when I'll get to the weekend, but it's too much math for my tired brain. Anyway, the previous video where I used lavender the composition was kind of a loose field of lavender, and I did use it as, well, okay, let's say it like this. So this is my version of a very loose Wisteria type of plant, but the actual process of painting these like floral, clusters or blooms, whatever you want to call them, is quite similar, at least for my very non-realistic, inaccurate version of flowers. So it's quite simple, the process, very similar, this Wisteria to yesterday's lavender. It's just that the composition is different. I'm painting here, the blooms are coming from above, and I have to say it's a little bit more appealing to me than the more traditional kind of field of flowers. I don't know, I'm not a huge fan, I guess, of that field of flowers composition. I think you kind of really need to do it in interesting, experimental, new way to make it interesting, just because fields of flowers are one of those things that is so popular and has been, painted each and every way. So I aspire to try and do things a little bit differently. Now, I do like yesterday's painting. I'm not saying that I don't like it, but this is probably more my kind of thing, more abstract, and yeah. So, I mean, this has also been done probably every which way, but yeah. So the color scheme is also pretty similar to the previous one. This one is probably a little bit bluer. I do have a little bit of cobalt violet because I'm obsessed with that color, but I'm really trying to focus on granulating colors. I think they are just beautiful. I love the effect, and the paper in this sketchbook, which, by the way, I have written to Jackson's asking them to stock this journal, and if they manage to do it, it's kind of an item that I've only seen available in the Fabriano boutique, so I'm guessing they don't make a ton of them because these are handmade. I don't know. I hope Jackson can get their hands on a few of these, because the shipping from the Fabriano boutique is crazy expensive, and yeah, so I haven't been able to order, or I'm not going to order more of these until Jackson gets them, and then I'll probably order, because It's such beautiful paper. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to show you the granulation. I made this very loose first wash. You can see that it still has a lot of interest in it, and the fan brush definitely helped get there, because it does create, if you don't use a ton of water, it does give you a lot of like interesting texture. This one artist, I can't remember his name, but I've seen him paint with the fan brush as his main brush, and I thought it was really interesting, and then I tried it also, and I have to say it's a lot of fun. It probably works better when you have slightly larger paintings, where you can really enjoy the entire, size of that brush for brush strokes. But also in a journal, I think for that first layer, it was really nice. So I'm showing you my white. I've been getting some questions about this. This is the Rembrandt Opaque White. This is a 20 ml tube, and the pigment is PW6. It's a very standard color. You absolutely don't need to hunt down the Rembrandt one, even though the price is right and it has a lovely formula. It re-wets beautifully, and I can't be bothered squeezing out fresh white paint every time I want to use it. So that's why I have a big pan of it in my palette. This also means that I can have one area of it a little bit more dirty than, I'm showing you the granulation. How incredible is that? There's some cobalt violet there, some lunar blue, the blue violet, and lunar black, I want to say, and yeah. Yummy, yummy granulation. So I like to have the large pan of white, and then I can keep certain areas a little bit cleaner, and then other areas can get contaminated because white is very easily contaminated. So I think having a large pan is a good idea, even if your other pans are just half pans. So where was I? Yeah, now I'm going in for the second layer, and I just want to add that shape of the Wisteria. I don't know, these are petals, I guess. Technically they're petals. Yeah, I guess this whole thing is a flower. I don't know. I'm not a botanist. A botanist? I just watched recently, again, The Martian. It's such a great movie. Anyway, yeah, so coming in with the second layer once the first layer dried, and then adding more detail, that gives a lot of interest and definition and, more depth to this whole thing. And the trick here, in my opinion, is to have that variation. I talked about this also in the previous video. You don't want to have the same amount of detail or the same shape or the same color in each of these flowers. You want to keep things interesting and just varied, so that the viewer's eye kind of goes from one to the other and then enjoys all those pretty watercolor moments. And I have to say, I think I lost interest in this at some point. I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and I think the color story here is very pretty, and it is very appealing to me. At the end, well, you'll see, because I needed a bit more color. I'm not a huge monochromatic fan. I feel like this just needs a bit more warmth, and I'm adding some detail with Lunar Black and my trusted dagger sword brush, whatever it's called. There's a link below. I love this brush. It's just, at some point I feel like every painting needs a little bit of these brush strokes. And yeah, you know how it is when you are in one part of your house and your kid is in another part, and instead of just coming to you when they want to tell you something or ask you for something, they just sit where they are and they scream your name or mom over and over again. That drives me crazy. Seriously, we all have mobile phones. She could send me like a WhatsApp message and that would be less annoying. than having to come out of my room when I'm trying to record a narration. Anyway, yeah, so now I think, what was I trying to do now? I don't know. I'm testing. Yeah, I wanted a bit of color, and yellow is always my go-to when I'm painting with a lot of purples. So I thought, okay, I'll use that. And this was the kind of lazy way out. I just added some sprinkles in yellow just to bring a little bit light into it. Just a bit of warmth, because it has kind of that very cold feel to me. I probably could have added some bees, like the lavender one, but yeah, I didn't want to do that again. That's boring. So I went with the splatters. Here's a close-up. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in another video very, very soon. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Bye.